All right, inner child healing and how to reparent yourself. That's today's topic. That's what got the most votes out of the poll that I posted earlier today. It's 7 o'clock here. It's Sunday, and as I mentioned, I'm this little town, and I totally forgot that that they're ringing the bells every full hour. So bear with me. It's just kind of like an introductory part to our live. It will stop soon, I think. Oh wait, let me add a comment. As you are hopping in, hi, I'm Gerly. I'm in a small tiny town in Penela in the middle of Portugal. So drop me one if you haven't seen me before, and if it's your first time joining live, and oh, there you go. And if you have seen me before, just say hi because we're friends, and I'm gonna let you know that you can drop your questions about inner child healing using the question mark button where you are. All right, here we go, and I'm gonna pin that comment so you're able to see it. Okay. Oh, we're still going. Okay. Either way, the thing that I wanted to just hi everybody, Renee, Cindy. Who else is here? Beautiful. So, inner child healing. Okay. And before we dive into it, like there's so many different avenues that you can take to heal yourself and to meet your emotional needs and to start feeling that freedom. Oh, I picked the perfect time to start that live, didn't I? Either way, but one of the most powerful things that I have for me and for so many of my clients is the inner child healing. And we all have some inner children, right? And we have multiple, right? Because in this moment, right where you are, and the church bell is so agreeing with everything I say, you hold within yourself so many different versions of yourself from your past, okay? Does that make sense? Oh, let me know how many of you are familiar with inner child healing, and how many for how many it is like a totally new concept. You can drop them into the comments. But peace and quiet. But as I mentioned, so you have multiple different inner children inside of you, okay? Oftentimes when you get angry, when you get triggered, when you react to something, it's not typically the present version that is reacting to it. I hope it's not too distracting. I don't know what's going on. Typically it's just not happening like that. But what I was saying was that typically when you get triggered, it's a part of your inner child. It's some of your inner children or your past versions that are reacting instead. Okay? So, and in order to now learn more about what you actually need, you know, when a triggerous moment happens, or you feel stuck, or there's so many different emotions that are coming up, inner child work is a beautiful framework for you to kind of like make sense out of why you're feeling those things and what's actually happening inside of you. And the reparenting part is you taking back to power. This is actually really funny. I hear you even though the bell is ringing. Okay, beautiful. Well, you're gonna flow with it, right? So, and that's the thing, like the only thing that is in your control is how you respond to the things that are happening outside of you, because you can't really control what's happening outside of you, right? So that bell ringing could be me getting triggered and thinking like, oh my god, this life is like totally out of hands, and you know, it's going to so there's so many different avenues that we can take, right, when we react. And that's under my control. So under my control is how I respond, or whether I'm gonna react or respond, right? So there's a little bit of difference in that as well, because we don't want to be reactive. We want to be in a place where we respond. And what inner child work also allows us to do is that we're starting to gain more awareness of like what actually is triggering us and what we actually need. Because so many of us are walking around in life waiting and expecting everybody else to meet our needs, and we don't have a clue what they are, right? But it's like, I want everybody else to make me happy. I want my partner and my family, and then like my kids and everybody, like my coworkers, to understand what I need and to fulfill them. And if they're not doing it, I feel crappy, and therefore it's their fault because they are not behaving and doing things as I would like them to do, right? And I cannot really voice or communicate what it is that I want to do, or what it is that I want them to do, because I have no clue of like what's actually the need behind what I'm after. What is the need behind why I want them to behave in a certain way, right? So that's what the inner child work allows us to tap into, because we can start to see that, oh, actually me getting pissed, or me getting upset, or me getting hurt, or me feeling upset, or me feeling really, really happy about something, or me having a belief around a certain topic doesn't really come from this current moment. It comes from what I'm holding from the past, right? And something for you to understand that is like, when we are kids, our system works in a little bit different way, right? When it comes to our nervous system, it doesn't self-regulate yet, okay? So we need other people around us to help regulate our nervous system. This is why we are wired to attachment, and this is why we are, like, dependent on our caregivers and caretakers. And if we didn't have the opportunity to see a really healthy way, or like a modeling, mirroring how to balance our nervous system, because those nervous systems that were around us didn't have that in them either. So it's not like they didn't want to give that to us, but I'm sorry, they didn't just, oftentimes people can't give you what they don't have, okay? So this is the first stage, right? You're so dependable on like just having your nervous system regulated by something outside of yourself, okay? And so if we don't have that healthy regulation, we just adopt different ways to still keep ourselves balanced and keep ourselves safe. And that's where our coping mechanisms come from. That's where the self-sabotaging behavior comes from, which is actually not like a sabotage, it's a self-preservation. It's the way that our system tries to keep us safe, okay? That's the first thing. And the second thing is that when we're just children, we don't have that logical structure yet online, right? We're not making sense out of the world as we do now, hopefully. And like the first years, I mean, like, we don't even have cognitive awareness, cognitive way of like explaining ourselves, language, right? It's not online yet. But what we do have is our feelings, and our body remembers everything. You probably have heard a quote, "Body keeps the score." That's exactly what happens, right? Your body remembers. So sometimes it's even like when you take your inner kid and it's like, it's way back. It's like, a really young version of you. It can be frightened or have that sensation still in the body that reacts to something that is making this version of you feel unsafe. Okay? So inner child work is a really powerful way to start to tap into those things that are still perhaps reactive in you, that are like keeping you in a smaller space than you would like to be, Okay, and understanding also that keeping those emotions at bay takes a lot of effort. It's almost like trying to press a cork or a beach ball underwater. And it's not its natural state. Its natural state is to flow and, you know, come back to up to the surface and, you know, be released. But what we do oftentimes with our emotions are like we're keeping them down because we have no idea how to deal with them, how to manage them, because we have perhaps never learned. And back in the day when this certain type of thing happened that created this really big emotional reaction, you didn't have the tools to hold that. And if you didn't have a healthy, regulated nervous system next to you that will help you navigate through this experience, then your body finds a way to bottle it down, to kind of buffer you from this experience. Okay? So the reparenting comes in now as you, as a grown-up, having now a grown-up nervous system, ability to think, understand and form new beliefs, become aware of your old ones, and starting to decide actually what is beneficial, what is supportive for you, and what is not. And you can start to meet those inner versions of yourself, and you can start to meet those needs that those versions have, instead of keeping constantly looking out for the outside world to do that. And when you start to do that, you can start to become more aware of what is it that you actually need, what is it in you that actually is reacting right now. Then that means that you can also voice them, right? You can start to communicate them in a healthy way, so other people around you don't need to guess and read your mind, but you can actually communicate in a truthful, healthy manner, and you can start getting those needs met. What's the word? Not expecting, but, well, in the case that you have a healthy relationship where the other partner is willing and ready to meet those needs. Sometimes when we're on this healing journey and growth journey, it's also normal that we outgrow from certain situations, from certain environments, from certain people. That's okay too. Okay? But sometimes there are awesome people around us who would gladly meet our needs if they just would know what they are. Okay? So reparenting gives the power back to you, because you can start to now meet those parts and heal those parts. Because at the end of the day, what we all need, and what those inner children in you need as well, is to feel seen, heard, acknowledged, and mostly loved. And loved unconditionally. Okay? A lot of us have grown up and learned the conditional side of love. But that's not the purest form of love, okay? Love in its core is unconditional, meaning that whatever you do, be, say, whatever your qualities, you are being loved, and you're being met with love and held with love, which allows you to now step up, rise up, heal, be the actual beautiful version of yourself that you are always meant to be, but that was just kind of like bottled in because you didn't have that connection to that essence, right? So often we feel like our soul is calling us to take certain paths, or we feel like this message from our body that, oh, this doesn't feel good, but we still like keep pushing through because we have this belief that we have to work hard, we have to feel crappy, and we have to endure, like money doesn't come easily, love doesn't come easily, all of those different beliefs that have happened, and we have those beliefs because we have just picked them up along the way, because this is the proof that we have gotten. And oftentimes we have picked up beliefs way back in our childhood, when we didn't have that ability to question it. It was something that was modeled to us. It was something that we heard all over again, right? Oftentimes it's so easy to hear like money beliefs, right? They're so rooted in us. And so now as a grown-up, you can start to open your eyes, you can start to gain that awareness, and you can start to heal those wounds, those limiting beliefs, and those inner versions of yourself. Okay. And perhaps you have heard about also like parts work. This is something that I do as well, but the way that I view it is that the inner child and inner children framework is like a macro unit, right? And the parts are kind of like a micro unit. The parts are something that, a parts of you that got hurt, that didn't get their need met, that experienced some sort of a rupture. And this part can like exist in different, inside of different age groups of your inner children, if that makes sense. Okay. So let me see, I have some questions. How is the inner child connected to our soul? All right, that's a good question. Let me see how I would answer that. Your soul is your essence, right? We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spirits having human experience, okay? So your inner children are very much like those human versions of you throughout your past. They're like frozen in time and that experience some sort of a situation, some sort of a big emotion, and they're kind of like, they're there inside of you, that human side of you. But your soul is what is like it's the essence. It's something so much bigger than you, right? So how is how are inner child or inner children connected to the soul? I would say that the soul is like the bigger unit containing all of your inner children, right? I hope that I was able to kind of describe or make myself clear of how I'm viewing this. And everything and anything that I say, take through your own personal filter, right? Okay, why do our inner children get hurt at first place? Let me see if I can I put it here? Okay, so you can see it as well. Why do our inner children get hurt in the first place? Well, because there was a need and it didn't get met. When we go like way back into, when you're still a baby, there's really like 3 things that you need most, right? It's nurturance, it's protection, and then later on it comes guidance as well, right? So you really first of all need your physical sensations, your physiological needs to be met, right? If you're hungry, you need to be fed. If your diaper needs to change, it needs to be changed. You need to sleep, right? So when those things are not happening, your body reacts, right? As I said, like logic and cognitive abilities are not online yet, but what is online are your feelings, and those are facts. So your body communicates through that, right? And you communicate that outwards, so your parents know that, oh my god, okay, he or she is crying, I think it's time to feed that little baby, right? But if that wasn't present enough in your life, you started to feel hurt, right? That's how your body reacts to the outside world. And therefore later you create this belief that it's not safe. Maybe it's not safe to express your needs because they're not going to be met. Maybe world is not a safe place because you have experienced that it's not getting your needs, it's not meeting your needs. There's all sorts of different kind of beliefs that we form based on our own unique qualities and based on the experiences and what we kind of are wired to, because 2 kids can grow up in the same household, kind of witness the same things, but they develop certain different coping mechanisms and different strategies how to deal with that, right? Based on their unique, build up and design. So basically your inner child gets hurt in the first place because there was a need, physiological, emotional, and it didn't get met. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, how is it like to have an unhealed inner child? It can play out so many different ways. really like common features to see and know that you have an unhealed inner child or inner children wounding is that you find hard to trust other people. You have this belief of you're not worthy of good things. You play yourself small. You're afraid to be your authentic self. Perfectionistic traits, because you think that you need to earn love because that's what you did previously, right? All the main were a lot of their trauma responses that, you know, like people pleasing, not being able, not trusting yourself, not trusting others, not expressing yourself, thinking that others are out there to get you. So there's this lack of safety within you, needing to control everything outside of you. Okay, so these are like few of the examples that you can know that, okay, there's this unhealed inner child in me. And that really, as I said, at the end of the day, just needs to know that, and wants to know that it's seen and it's loved and it's safe to be as she or he is. Okay. Can inner child healing help treat adult hypervigilance? I would say yes. Because the hypervigilance oftentimes comes from when you grow up, and especially when you grow in a household that has a lot of unstable nervous systems around you. So you'll learn to be on your guard. You know, when we have the parent who can be emotionally destructive, so we learn to pick up those subtle cues, you know, even before that front door, you know, like the way that this front door opens, we can already tell if they're in a good or bad mood, right? We start to pick up those subtle hints, the face expressions, the body language, the tone of the voice, all of those little bits and pieces, right? And we create this like hyper vigilance around us, because that is what is keeping us safe, right? We needed to learn that in order to just maintain as much as our well-being as we could. And we carry that with us into the adulthood, and we still think that life is like that. We still think that we need to wait for the other shoe to drop. We still feel that we need to make sure that everybody around us is happy and satisfied, and let me just scan the environment and the situation all the time to make sure that I'm picking up the right cues, that, you know, I'm not crossing any boundaries, maybe, you know, walking on eggshells, making sure that everybody else around me are happy. And that oftentimes comes from the inner child wound, right? So learning to meet that inner child now and teaching that version of you that it's actually safe and that it doesn't need to be anymore that hyper vigilant around everybody and anybody is going to heal that. Okay, good question. Well, let me see. Oh, I think, yeah, we kind of discussed. All right, you beautiful people. If you don't have any questions, or if you do, if you have any last minute questions, drop them either into the question mark button or into the comments. And if you're catching the replay, you know, hashtag replay and drop your questions there. Make sure to answer them, or, you know, create another live regarding that. I'm just gonna briefly, okay. Let's see. All right. Well, I hope that it was helpful. We have a question. What's the first thing to do for healing your inner child? The first thing is that you become aware that this thing exists. You become aware that you might have different inner children that are feeling hurt and they're carrying some pain with them. And so the second step is to decide. You hold the power of decision, and you have to decide, okay, I want to do this. This is the second step. So the third step is start connecting with that inner child version of you. Start to learn more about it. There's so many sources out there as well, right? There's so many beautiful meditations and journaling prompts. Or you can take somebody who is specialized and knows how to guide you through this inner child work, and having somebody there with you, and preferably doing it in a trauma-informed way. Okay, we don't want to re-traumatize the system. We don't want to push it too eagerly. Okay, that's not what that system and that part of you needs. And when you do this inner child work, and it's really powerful, because oftentimes that inner child, those wounds are relational wounds, and so the best way to heal them is also through relationships. And it doesn't only have to be, like a parent-child relationship, or a romantic relationship, or a friendship. All of those can be super beneficial, super supportive in dealing and healing those inner child versions of you. But it can also be in a therapist, like a coaching session, the thing that I do. But also, meeting a therapist, meeting a counselor, doing that work with somebody who has had some training in this, because that allows you to collapse time. That allows you to start to be witnessed and held and seen by another, and it's really, really powerful, and it's really healing. And you're probably going to learn a lot of beautiful, productive tools that you can now take with you into your everyday life. So yeah, there's so many ways, but yeah, first is gaining awareness. It is present, it's possible. Then taking a decision, and then just meet yourself where you're at, right? There's so many free tools that you can start with, any way that you can connect to the inner child within. As I said, meditations, journaling prompts, or working with a specialist. So if you're interested in healing your inner child wounds, then feel free to contact me, and let's get you going. All right. Okay, how do we know that our inner child is healed? So I think that we can always better ourselves, right? We can always grow, we can always heal a little bit more, but the healing journey doesn't have to be like this forever, never-ending, crucial journey to take on. But the signs when you can see that, your inner child is starting to heal, and take your inner children as you would deal with an actual child. They're growing, they're still learning, there's still stuff that you can learn, and you can better, and you can meet yourself and hold yourself, right? Because every time you level up, every time you do something new, something greater, you grow and you expand, you're going to meet those versions again. And they probably maybe need some reassurance once again. So it's like, sometimes we are on this journey and we're like, oh my God, I already dealt with that kid. How much love does he need or she need from me, right? Well, guess what? A lot. So that's another moment for you to just be there for that version of yourself and meet your needs, okay? It's not a one and done type of thing. But when you can actually start to see that, my inner child is actually healing and feeling a lot better, is you're going to see it on your own everyday life. Maybe things that triggered you doesn't trigger you anymore as much. You start to express yourself more. You start to feel better. You start to be this authentic version that you have always meant to be. You start to loosen up. You start to relax a little bit more. Not everything needs to be perfect all the time. There's that you don't have that need to control all the time. So things that are keeping you stuck right now, and if you can see that those things are starting to loosen up and not hold so much power in your life anymore, that's when you know that your inner child is healing. And it's a constant journey. I mean, Like, you know the best what are the wounds that your inner child is carrying. And you can feel it in here. Literally, like, your body is going to start to feel different the more you connect with yourself and those inner versions of yourself. And it's just going to feel better. You're going to feel more like you have more space to hold, to create, to be who you truly are. Okay, beautiful question. Oh, there's so many new questions. Okay. Response going to be shared. Okay, I'm sorry. But Shellsuit asked, Frida asked, how do I take care of my inner child's anger? There's so many beautiful ways to, first of all, accept, right? Name that emotion. Okay, I am feeling anger. This inner child of me is experiencing anger. Okay, you are not anger. You are not, an angry person. You're just experiencing anger. Ta-da! Oh my God, it's been a half an hour already. Okay, I'm starting to wrap up. But first of all, like, just voice it out. Okay, you're noticing that emotion. And then anger can be a really powerful emotion, So any way that you can like literally like express that anger. Maybe you want to just shake it off. Maybe I don't know. For me, like a kickboxing class would be amazing where to channel that anger. Just scream into a pillow, write it out, jump, scream, do something that allows this energy to start moving. Okay, and oftentimes don't be afraid or alarmed when sadness is actually underneath that anger, and vice versa. Sometimes we're super sad and then actually we are like buffering some anger inside of us. Okay, so get this energy moving and just name it as well, that you see that the anger is present. Okay, is there a step-by-step process to doing inner child healing? I'm sure that there are many beautiful frameworks. I touched a little bit that, like a structured process. You start to meet that inner child is inside my group coaching program, the Full Body S Formula. So if you're interested in having like a structured way of doing things, then this is a super good fit. And the way we start is we start by gaining awareness, then we move into body connection and like establishing that safety within, and then we move into the action part. And yeah, like it takes a lot of compassion and patience and a lot of love to do this work, but it's so rewarding. It's such a rewarding journey to take on, because we want to release those emotions, but we want to create safety. Safety first, okay? Yeah, safety first. So that would be like a foundational work, where to start creating that internal safety. So your system actually allows you to allows it to open up and meet those parts. Okay. Beautiful questions, folks. I'm so happy that you stuck. You enjoyed and you joined me. Thank you for all of those beautiful questions. I know it's a big topic. I hope that it was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if it was. Feel free to send me a message, comment down below. What was your main take from it? And yeah, those of you who are interested in doing this work, in doing inner child work and healing those things, contact me. Send me a DM or check the link in my bio. And with these bells, I'm going to end. Thank you so much for hanging here with me, and I will see you soon. Enjoy your Sunday.